Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
That's right, which is mainly metal music and live music. It's another road show because we are on our way back from where?
Omaha.
There you go, that's where we're coming back from. We're driving back from Omaha. We went to see Wake and Leviathan last night, August 31st, 2024.
Their 20th birthdays for each album.
Yeah, so if you don't know, or the tour name doesn't allude to it, it's Lamb of God and Mastodon's two of their biggest albums, if not their biggest, most popular albums.
Probably most popular for both of them.
Yeah, Ashes of the Wake and Leviathan, respectively, came out on the same day, August 31st, 2004.
Yep.
I did not know that they came out on the same day.
I didn't know it was the same day. I just thought they were both celebrating the anniversary.
Yeah, same.
And also we didn't know that we were going to see them on the day that they came out.
Yeah, exactly. On
or
the day
the
it came
anniversary
out.
that they came out.
It was the last day of the tour as well. Perfect way to end the tour.
Exactly.
Is like on the day it was released. Definitely planned, I would say.
Oh yeah, definitely. You would either start it or end it that day.
Yeah.
So.
Weird though that it was in Omaha. I don't understand that.
I know, instead of like Richmond, motherfucker, Virginia, or Atlanta.
Right, exactly. They did play both of those cities though early on in the tour.
They did, yeah.
But yeah, back to this real quick. We already mentioned it was co-headlined with Lamb of God, Mastodon. In support, we had Kerry King and Malevolence. So 3 of the 4 bands were on the boat, so I got to break out the boat vest again.
Yes.
Which was
Year one
super awesome.
Boat vest.
Year 1, yeah. Tour name Wake and Leviathan, like you said, I really love this name.
Yeah, it was a really, really perfect way to name the tour.
Yeah, exactly. You're co-headlining it. You split the 2 albums, put them together.
Yeah.
Tour names, to me, I really like tour names, especially when they get creative with it. North America Tour is sort of the bottom of the barrel in terms of like naming a tour, which seems like almost everybody now is North America Tour. Then it's the album tour, like M72 is the Metallica's tour, which is just the album, because you're going in support of that album. It's better than North America Tour, but it's still sort of like, come on, you guys can come up with something better. This is a step up from that because it's both of them melded together, and it worked so well, like melding that, like Ashes of Leviathan, like it just fits so well. I even like Lamb of God re-released Ashes of the Wake, and I caught myself talking to myself in my head and calling it Ashes of Leviathan. Like I thought the album Ashes of Leviathan, and then I had to stop and like, no, that's the tour name. They're 2 separate albums.
Like I want to go buy Ashes of Leviathan.
Yeah, so I caught myself saying that a lot. Anyway, back to this, like we were saying, this was at the Astro Amphitheater in Omaha, or just outside of Omaha.
Yeah, it was like La Vista or something.
Yeah. Ticket prices were $55 and then $15.25 in fees.
That's not bad.
That's a really good price for this show.
That's so good.
2 headlinings plus 2 support acts, which are amazing support, Kerry King and Malevolence.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the co-headlining tour, both albums played in their entirety. We didn't mention that, but yeah, that's what they were doing. They were playing both albums in their entirety. This was a new venue for us.
And a new venue altogether, maybe?
Well, I don't know.
They kept saying, like, this new venue, so...
Yeah, but we were at the area this venue's in is a lot of new construction. There's, it looks like an apartment complex right next to the venue, a lot of new restaurants. There's a brewery there with a restaurant, like, right next to that. City Brewery or something, or City Pub, something like that, whatever it is. So a lot of new construction. At City Pub, though, I think when I went to the bathroom, I saw a photo of the Astro Amphitheater, but it was old, from like the 50s or something.
Oh, okay.
So that made me think like maybe the venue's been there forever, but it's just been renovated and rebuilt and redesigned or something like that. At least the inside part. So that's the other thing with this. The venue seems like there's an inside part of the venue and an outside.
Which is perfect if that's... I mean, I think that's what it is, too. Because I saw pictures, and the pictures were inside. So that would be perfect, because then you get summer shows plus...
You can do year-round shows.
Yeah, year-round.
Because you're in the Midwest, you're going to get snow, you're going to get cold, you can't play outside, right?
Yeah.
So like Tinley Park, they don't do that in the winter. But if they had an inside component to that venue, you'd be able to do stuff there. So maybe just the outside aspect of it, the amphitheater aspect
Could be
is
the new part.
Yeah.
It did look newish, like the cement and everything, like being
Yeah.
it just looked.
It did have a new feel to it, right? But like I said, that old photo made me think like, oh shit, maybe this has been around for a while. Really cool space on the outside. Like we said, we didn't go into the inside; it was only on the outside. I was expecting Tinley Park-esque, where you have a small pit, then you have a seating area, and then you have a lawn. And I remember buying tickets for this, and we only paid $55. And you kept saying, like, are you sure we got pit? Are you sure we got pit? Because if you buy pit tickets at Tinley Park for this show, it would have been $250 probably a ticket.
Oh, yeah, at least $250.
Or a fuck ton of money, $180 maybe. I don't know. It would have been a fuck ton more at Tinley Park for the pit, and which that's where we'd want to be, right?
Oh, yeah, I would not want to see this from the lawn.
No,
or a seat. Could you imagine being in a seat?
Yeah, but that's what I expected this to be like.
Yeah.
And then we get there, and it's just this floor, a pit area, which was larger than Tinley Park, like much larger than Tinley Park's pit. A small raised seating area behind that.
Yeah, with tables.
Like one row of tables, sort of like your VIP seating where you go get a table, you can hang out there. And then behind that was another railing, sort of another step up, which was then the lawn.
Yeah, and the lawn's like angled up.
Sloped upwards,
or sloped up, yeah.
The sound stage was the front of the house, the sound booth and everything, that was back there as well. They had a couple buildings. I didn't wander the venue.
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, so back there is 2 buildings, and I don't know if on each one has bathrooms and water on both sides, but like the one I went to did. So there's a water fountain for like bottle refill water, and then concession on both sides, like the same thing, just beer and water.
So
and
like an actual water fountain that you could refill your water?
Yeah, it was an actual water fountain, like a bottle water fountain. Like
the new ones where you just put it under and it fills up. Okay, sweet.
And it was cold, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get those and it's just like warm water that you're drinking. I mean, it works.
It would have, I would have been happy with it because you ended up bringing me back that water.
Oh yeah,
and I just downed it like super quick.
I already drank 2 bottles.
Oh,
when
did you?
I took those back to. It was hot. What was it, like 87 degrees? In the sun.
It wasn't horrible, but the sun was killing me.
It was hot, yeah.
Because the venue was a north-south facing venue.
Yeah.
So the sun sets in the east, and like it was
The
off
sun
to our
sets in the
right.
west.
Whatever, that way it goes that way. But it was setting over to my right side, and it was just beating down on my face, and my like my right side.
Yeah.
And it got super hot in that sun.
I remember during Malevolence, like my feet just felt like they were on fire from the sun. Like I don't know.
Could be the bug bite you got, not the.
No, because it was both feet.
No, all right.
But like the cement was hot, but then also like the sun was on my shoes, and it was just hot.
Yeah, that was one thing that was pissing me off, was definitely the sun. Yeah. And just eventually, by the end of Mastodon, it had been down.
Yeah.
Middle of Mastodon, it had kind of gone over the hill a little bit where it was starting to become dusk and a little darker. But that sun really pissed me off.
That's one thing that I said. It's like the venue should have been built the opposite way, so that like you're looking towards the sun, but the stage is there to make a shade.
I don't know about that, because that would suck from an audience perspective of just sitting there staring at the sun as it's
But you're
coming.
not, because the venue would be the shade.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
like you're in the pit, so then it's shaded.
Sure, you couldn't also have the lawn then, because you have the lake back there. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what you could do to change it. I was thinking about that too, like changing the rotation of where this would be. To make it less that way. Put up seats or something over there, an art fixture that could then block
an
the
art
sun
fixture, yeah.
Like over there by the hill with the
slides.
With the slides.
Yeah, you could do something there.
Put something there that would like put an art fixture there. It's on the highway. It looks cool.
Yeah.
And it could potentially block out the sun a bit. But the sun was fucking annoying. But whatever. It went down, and as it went down, it got cooler and cooler, and it was really turned out to be a perfect night.
It was a perfect night once Lamb of God went. I mean, we were still sweaty as fuck, but it was a lot better once Lamb of God went on.
But back there by those buildings you were talking about, there's another like little lake thing back there. Did you mention that?
Yeah, so there's a lake. So it's like there's a railing back behind the buildings. That's where I drank my bottle while I was just looking over. So there's a lake with a walking path for like the residents of that area to use. So it's kind of cool.
Like a little public area.
Yeah,
like,
public park
It looked
area.
like when we drove by, it was big. Like there might be tables down there as well
Oh,
for like
there could be.
picnics and
Yeah,
shit.
there could be. I
It looked pretty
notice
massive
that.
as we drove by. I just got a quick glimpse of it last night as we left. But yeah, I didn't really wander the venue that much. It was, while the floor was bigger than Tenley Park, just using that as a reference because we've been there, it still felt like a very, very small venue.
It is small. Yeah, we thought maybe like 2,000-3,000 people.
Yeah, we didn't look it up, but yeah, it'd be something like that.
Yeah.
All in all, though, really cool venue. I really liked it.
It is cool. I had very low expectations, kind of like you going in, because I honestly thought that we probably had like lawn tickets for that price. Meaning lawn tickets like Tinley Park lawn tickets. And I was just like, I'm going to be okay if I don't see the show. Like if I'm just sitting in the back.
Yeah.
So I was very, very pleasantly surprised.
I was, maybe 80 to 90% positive we had the tickets we had. Because I remember buying one. I remember clicking on it.
Yeah.
But the price alone was
the price. That's what made me think
really?
that it was
That's how much it is?
Yeah.
This doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
It seems like there should be a lot more. I mean, considering what last year we got Ghost Amon Amarth and paid like 3 times as much
you know what?
for
Northerly
like
Island,
a shitty show.
Yeah, Northerly Island might be almost the same size. Like the pit area.
Yeah.
And then there's seats instead of like the lawn.
Maybe it fits a little bit more because those seats do go up a lot higher.
Yeah.
But yeah, in any case, it was smaller than I expected, honestly.
It was small, yeah.
I was expecting like a Tenley Park sort of size of this.
Like a true amphitheater.
Yeah.
Size,
but I don't know what their other venues were like they played. They did play Red Rocks a couple nights before.
They did,
which would have been fucking insane to go see.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. Even though we keep saying like, oh, it needs to be the right show, like I would go see this stuff.
I'm starting to get over that now.
Oh, are you? Okay.
I can't remember when it was. Maybe it was Dead
Alma
and
Marth?
Company.
Oh, Alma Marth I wanted to see out there.
Yeah, I think it was probably Dead and Company at the Sphere, where I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter what show's going to be here. It's going to be fucking insanely awesome no matter what.
So you're in the same boat for...
I'm starting to come
Red
around to
Rocks?
like, I would go see now anything at Red Rocks. So I was trying to hold out for like the perfect show, which to me Mastodon would have been one of the perfect shows.
Yeah.
Lamb of God, not so much.
Right. It would be weird seeing Lamb of God in that type of venue,
But Mastodon for sure, Meshuggah for sure.
Yeah.
Gojira would make an awesome
Gojira,
show there as well.
Yeah.
But Lamb of God, Slipknot, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I love you guys, but this isn't the venue I want to see you at.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, fuck it. I want to see a show
We'll see them
there.
again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing, is like you'll see them again, so you'll get a Lamb of God show.
Yep.
Or a Slipknot show, and it's like, this is a special event to be able to see it at Red Rocks. So.
And they viewed it as a special event too, because it came out with a limited edition poster for that show. The only show that they had that poster at. Like, otherwise they had just their basic poster that they had been selling at all their shows. Mastodon also had like a larger normal size. By normal I mean like what you get in like Spencer's or something. What is that? That's 24 by 36 or something. Those dimensions, whatever
it is.
Whatever you think about, like the big posters that you get like with sporting and whatnot, but not concert posters, which are 18 by 24. They're a little smaller. Mastodon throughout the tour had both. They had that larger one, which was just the Leviathan album cover, and then they had special ones for the show, for the tour itself. But they didn't have any at this last stop.
Yeah, they didn't have.
If they did, they had very few, and they got snatched right away. We didn't go in right at doors. We were in probably 30 minutes after doors.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it wasn't too late after.
But they didn't have any of those. I didn't see anybody with poster tunes at that time. I saw a lot at the end of the night getting the Lamb of God poster. But no, I didn't see any of those posters, and I was really excited. I really wanted to get them. My only thought is they sold out before this happened.
Before this show.
Which was a little disappointing. I really wanted to get a poster for this show. Also, the Lamb of God one was just a generic sort of art.
Yeah, there's no tour name or anything on it.
Yeah, I want the tour date. I want the tour names. Sort of like the flyer that this came out with, this tour. Like the art of that, mixing the two albums together was such a great way of mixing that art to celebrate both of these albums. So I got super excited, hoping that would be a poster that you could then buy. But oh well, whatever. It's merch that I didn't buy because they didn't have it. But we got some shirts and whatnot. All in all, though, venue-wise, super cool venue. Sounded great, I thought.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There were some parts where like the vocals, I thought, especially early on.
Yeah.
But after the first like song or something, like they would fix and tweak the vocals. And
Kerry King, they had a little.
Yeah.
What I don't know what that is. Where like the feedback of the guitars and stuff. But I mean, honestly, I thought it sounded fantastic. So
yeah. But getting into the music then, Malevolence, our first time seeing them since the boat. I think it was like right after they got done. You're like, I remember them.
Yeah, I took a nap during them, but I do remember them.
You were sick. That's when you were sick with your seasickness and whatnot, right?
Yep. So they played in like the Spinnakers, yeah. And I sat in one of the chairs and slept through most. Kind of like slept with my head down, but like I was awake for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think we saw them a couple times. I can't remember, but I think we also saw them on the Magnum stage.
I was going to ask you if we saw them on the Magnum stage as well. I think maybe one of those passing throughs, like we didn't like stay and see their whole set.
We just caught a few songs and then continued moving on. Yeah, I think so.
They're from England,
right? Yeah. Super awesome vibe on stage. Great stage presence, great sound. I really like Malevolence a lot.
I liked them too, yeah.
Need to listen to them more than I have, but they'll go on the playlist now and check them out for sure.
Did you look up the set list?
I did not look up any of the set lists for this. We'll throw them up on our playlist, and
we're in the car, so it's kind of hard to pull up on a laptop like we normally do. So,
but it was awesome. Like I said, super fucking great sound, super great vibe on stage. I think they were down hanging out the merch tent most of the night.
I never saw them down there.
See, I think they were the people standing right behind us when we were waiting to buy the
really?
shirt. I think they were.
Oh.
I thought that was them.
Okay.
And they were just standing there shooting the shit about open mic nights and shit. Like somebody in the crew, like, I thought. I could be completely wrong.
Okay. I didn't see them again, so I didn't think so, but you could be correct. I don't know.
We had just seen them on stage, and I don't remember what they looked like and anything like that. So, But yeah, the crowd was super awesome. It wasn't quite as full. It's got like a normal concert gets fuller and fuller all night long. But like as soon as they started, the pit opened up and it was quite large. Good energy in the pit, good energy in the crowd. It was a fun time.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily enjoy the pit just because I was hot and the sun was there, like just beating down, and I just felt like the people in the pit were a little larger than I like to be next to a pit. Does that make sense?
Not really.
Okay, I don't like when like really large guys are just like bumping into each other and like forcefully pushing them into the crowd, and that's what I felt like they were doing.
Gotcha.
Where a lot of times the pit is like it's one organism, and I felt like during Malevolence people were just like forcefully pushing. Like a big guy would push another big guy, like, "Hey, I'm stronger than you," and just push them into the crowd, and I didn't like that.
I
so
gotcha.
That's why I was like, I would prefer not to stand right here and move away from that.
Gotcha.
So.
Those are the pits I like. I do enjoy those pits. I didn't get like that vibe of like, dick measuring of like, I'm stronger than you, I'll push you into the crowd. There were moments of it, for sure.
How I took it. Like, I have to prove that I'm stronger than you.
Yeah,
or I'm a
I don't
bigger
know.
guy than you. So.
There was a little bit of that, I guess, but I don't know. I enjoy those pits a lot more than like the hardcore, just throwing, punching.
I enjoy that over hardcore pits, but I also just like where like you're just one organism and not having to do the whole.
I don't know.
That's just my opinion.
No, I know.
I know. That's my opinion.
I know, and I'm just saying I didn't get that.
Okay.
So like, sure, that's your thought and your opinion, but no, that's not how I felt it was. But okay. I enjoyed it. We did move after that and didn't go anywhere near that area. I don't know. Anything else then for Malevolence then for you?
No, it's fine. It was a good set. I can't wait to see them again. I don't know.
Yeah, same.
Like, I mean, I'm sure that they'll come back to the States for another tour, so.
Yeah, I hope so. We ended up going and getting a shirt of theirs afterwards, a tour shirt when it was US-Canada tour. I didn't look at all the dates, but I wonder if they were tacking on more dates.
If they did something else.
Outside of this, but maybe not. Maybe it was just that one. I can't remember, honestly.
I mean, they did pretty much since July, like almost every day. So I don't
Yeah.
know where they would, unless they're doing like something after or before.
Yeah, probably
So-
not actually. It's probably just part of this tour.
Yeah.
But they normally, a supporting band won't have a tour shirt with dates on it if they're like the first opener, which they did, which is the reason we picked up one of their shirts, because it had the dates
Yeah.
on the back. And this is what I'm wearing right now. It's kind of a cool shirt. I
You
like
can't
it.
really see it.
No, you can't.
Because we have our seats belts on.
Seatbelts on, right. After Malevolence, we get Kerry King at that point. I was super excited to see Kerry King. I was disappointed earlier this year when he did his first show, or they did their first show at Reggie's.
And it sold out in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I had the ticket in the cart, and I went to hit like submit order or whatever, check out, and as soon as I hit check out, it was like sold out. It's like, fuck, I had this in my cart and it's gone.
It was sold out by like 10:01. I think they went on sale like 10 o'clock. It was 10:01.
Well, I was there at 10:02. I remember that.
Oh, okay.
And I hit checkout at 10:02 with them in my cart, and boom, they're gone. And then I made the mistake of going to StubHub right afterwards and seeing what they were selling for. It was like $700 or some shit like that. And it's like, motherfuckers, fuck these assholes.
I wonder if there's a limit that you could buy during that.
There usually is, but the limit's a joke. It's like 6 to 8 tickets.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they're 10 tickets. Sometimes you can buy up to 10 tickets, and it's like.
But then when they put the limit on, it's still like 8 tickets. It's like, I think it was Metallica's 40th. They put a limit of 4 tickets on that. 4 is a good, reasonable number in my opinion. But there were people in the comments of the boards and whatnot being like, I've got myself, my son, my daughter, my wife. Yeah, myself, my son, my daughter. Myself, my son, my daughter, my wife, and my other son or other daughter or something. Anyway, they had 5 people they wanted to go with. And like, can I get a 5th ticket? And they're like, sorry, you can't. Somebody's got to stay home. So that is kind of that sucks. But I do think 4 is a good sort of round number.
Right.
6, 8, 10 is like, you're selling these to scalpers, right? I'm not a fan of that. But whatever, it is what it is. But we missed that show. I really wanted to go to it.
Was that the only show he did?
I think that's the only show he did. Yeah, that was sort of like the first live show.
Yeah.
I don't think he did anything after that, except for this tour.
Well, he's done a couple like standalone shows like that.
Has he?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember any, but he may have.
Not like around us.
No, not around us. Yeah. No,
maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember. I knew that was the first one, and I assumed at the time it was sort of like, all right, let's get our legs under us as a band, try to work out some of the kinks, if there are any, before going on this tour with Lamb of God. There could have been other ones. I didn't see any, but I do remember that Reggie's one for sure. But when that did sell out, I knew we had tickets to this, so I knew we would at least get to see him.
Oh, we had these tickets already?
I believe we did, yeah.
Okay.
And
I guess in my mind I was just like, we'll see him again, or like we'll try next time. So
yeah, and that's sort of like, well, we're definitely going to see him. It just wasn't the same type of show. It's like he's the headliner, possibly the only band playing, and it's sort of like a big deal if it's your first time playing your shit live.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool to see, but I could just I bet Reggie's was a joke that night though.
Packed. 100%.
Yeah.
And I've been there where it's insanely packed, and it's not fun to see a show there. So it would have been that way, but whatever, he would have been there. Anywho, it was a good show as well. Very good sort of old school thrash vibes.
Yeah,
and
I really enjoyed it.
It was a really good set.
I personally have not listened to Kerry King music at all. Like,
I've listened to the first song. I can't remember the name now. It's the first single that came out.
Okay.
I'm gonna look that up real quick. Yeah, that first single, Idle Hands.
And maybe I've heard that. I don't know. I personally have not sought out Kerry King to listen to.
Yeah, and the album's been out for a little bit, and I don't think I've listened to it. I may have listened to it once through, just to see what it was like, and I definitely got some Slayer vibes from it, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Cause, I mean,
like, it's that thrash sound.
Yeah. Especially Idle Hands. I know I've listened to that a few times. And yeah, that sound is there. So maybe I haven't listened to everything, but it was a good set. I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Really?
Just because I also don't know. I know Slayer music by like the popular one, like Rain and Blood and Rain and Blood and Rain and Blood. But other than that, like I don't listen to Slayer that much either, like unless it comes on like a playlist or something. So I wasn't sure what to expect, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. Slayer's something I listen to as well, more than you, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something like I seek out. I don't like Google, like not Google.
Yeah,
Go to Spotify and be like, I'm gonna listen to Slayer today.
Right, same.
But Rain and Blood is the only Slayer song I think that they played.
I think so too. I'll have to look at the set list. I can't remember for sure.
Yeah.
But I remember when that was starting, when they started to do the intro for that. I was at the end of one song and they just did the drum beats.
It's like the second,
very slower a little bit.
Yeah, second to last song that they played, I think.
Yeah. Which they started doing the drum beats and like, this is definitely going to be Rain and Blood. This is...
Yeah.
No way it's not that. Or they're just fucking with us and they're doing a little bit. It's like all right, now we're not actually going to do it.
That would be kind of funny though. Like if they're like...
People would have lost their fucking minds.
Yeah, I think they would have.
Because I think when the drum beat starts hitting, like everybody's like, oh, all right, I know what the fuck's going on now.
Yeah.
And you're getting
could you imagine if you did that and then like, nope, not doing that today.
I think that'd be funny as shit.
It's like Wage War when they played Stitch like at the acoustic. Like they're like, oh, you probably thought that you were going to get some electric songs, and then they like play Stitch for like one little thing at the beginning.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
And then they were like, nope, we're not doing that. So, anyways.
Yeah, but I do like when bands do that a little bit. It kind of pisses you off a little bit at the time, but I instantly get over it and just start laughing like, oh, that's funny. I'll hear that song some other day maybe. Yeah, I enjoy when those like little bait and switch things happen. But no, it wasn't a bait and switch. They went right into Rain and Blood and just fucking crushed it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt really good. The sound, the vibe, like, I don't know. All of it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, the only weird part to me was like the sun was still shining, so it was like daylight, and you're watching this heavy thrash metal in the daylight. Like it's like a festival though.
It is,
like when you go to a festival and you're like watching the earlier bands and it's like daylight out. It's a weird vibe.
Well, when they closed open air on the second stage, it was like that too.
Oh, it's still daylight. Yeah.
It was still daylight. Yeah. But yeah, that is super weird. I would like to see it in an actual venue, which is another reason I don't really like these amphitheaters, because it does feel weird. And that's a good thing you brought up, because it did feel very festival-esque up to that point.
Yeah.
Even when Mastodon started, it was like, this is just like a mini festival almost.
Yeah. I mean, it's only 4 bands, but it was just so bright.
Yeah. It started at 5:32, the show did. Because we think there was a curfew because of the apartment buildings right next door to it.
Yeah, potentially, yes.
I did see some people up on like the roof deck looking over.
Oh, really?
I looked over.
Oh, I never looked. I heard somebody say something about like people are there on the like over there or something, and maybe they were talking about the same thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I liked the venue a lot. It just felt very weird. Especially being that close to an apartment complex and being outside.
Yeah.
I could see people getting very pissed about the music.
Yeah, but I think that probably is why it started so early. So it was done by what, like 10:15?
10:15, 10:30ish, somewhere in there, yeah.
Like it was early, so. But it makes sense. I mean, like if you're in a residential area like that, like you can't be playing until midnight.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It was super awesome to see Kerry King. I want to see these guys again.
Yeah, we were kind of on the wrong side. Like, if you go to, like, see Kerry King, we were almost on the wrong side because he was in front of, like, the VIP little section area.
Over on stage left.
Yeah, so the VIP is, like, just, like, a little section on stage left that's split off. And I guess they had their own bar and bathroom over there, but otherwise the GA is just right in front of the stage, basically.
Yep.
Kerry King did come over to our side for...
I was trying to remember if he did. I couldn't remember if he did or not.
He did for a second because I have like a little snap of it, but yeah, so just for like a little bit though. And then he was like right back over there. So.
Yeah, he didn't move around a whole lot, but yeah. Yeah, all in all, great. I want to see these guys again, and hopefully soon we will. They'll do another, probably headlining tour, honestly.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be headlining. They could definitely do their own headlining
I'm
tour.
sure people would come out for it.
Yeah.
And they're going to sprinkle in more Slayer songs
Yes,
probably into
yeah.
the set list as well.
Yeah.
Similar like Hell Yeah did, right? They did a whole Pantera segment of their show.
Yeah.
In the middle of it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we get to our first headliner, Mastodon. Sun started to set. They had the curtain up with the Mastodon logo on it. I was really curious to see how they were going to do this because the first track of the album is Blood and Thunder.
Which is generally their last track.
Right, that's your closer, right?
Yeah.
And it just starts and it's going hard right away, right? So to me, with the curtain drop, you want to have that build up and then you have the drop, and when the drop hits, that's when the curtain drops.
Yeah.
Is like the standard way, or the way I think of like the best way to do it. You'll have other bands who will like fuck around with it a bit and they'll drop the curtain in a moment you don't expect.
Right.
Which can be kind of fun, but typically for me in my mind, it's always going to be the build up, and then when we get to the drop, boom, the curtain drops and we're going hard from that point forward. So starting with Blood and Thunder,
it starts right away.
And yeah, it just starts right away. It's like when are you going to drop the curtain?
And there was no like none of the bands had like intro music. You know how like Metallica will have like Long Way to the Top and stuff like that. Like there was no intro music. It was just we're starting.
So yeah, no intro music, but for Mastodon they did drop the curtain before the band even took the stage, and they had like the little Moby Dick intro.
Oh, they
video.
did. Yes, I forgot about that.
And then after that intro video went straight hard into Blood and Thunder.
Yes. I forgot about the little video. It was hard to see.
Yeah.
Just because the sun.
But I felt like the curtain was just probably there to help them set up the stage and whatnot. And then, boom, curtain drops, play the video, then they come out and play Blood and Thunder.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about beforehand, like, all right, are they going to do the album from start to finish, or are they going to rearrange the album? We've talked about this before with other bands that do albums in their full, where I kind of don't like when they do start to finish in order.
Yeah.
Because you can start to figure out, all right, I know what song is next. I know how much time is left in the concert. It kind of ruins it for me a little bit. But Blood and Thunder Leviathan being a concept album.
It makes sense.
You kind of have to do it in order then, right? Because it's telling a story, and if you start fucking with the order, you start fucking with the story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're going to do that in 1, 2, 3, 4 order, right? But I didn't mind it this time around, honestly.
I didn't mind it. I didn't know how they would do it either, but I guess in my mind I assumed that they would do it in order, but I didn't know.
Yep. I like this album a lot. I listened to it from time to time, start to finish as well, especially once this tour was announced. I started listening to it like at least once a week leading up to this, just to get into it and revisit it a lot. And I really like this album. I like their other shit as well, but Blood and Thunder is like their biggest song. It's in The Big Short, and so every time that comes in that movie, I'm like, oh shit, Blood and Thunder, I forgot that's in here. Like, I forget about it every fucking time for some reason. Yeah, great fucking show. I was super happy with it.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Mastodon's one of those bands that I've talked about, sort of like Amon Amarth, where I saw them first live, and I was like, this is really fucking good. I need to listen to more of this, and I don't. Then I see them live again, and it's like, I need to listen to more of this, and I don't. And it's like the third or fourth time I was seeing them live that I start to finally like just seek out their music and listen to it more and more. And it's definitely been that way over the last 6 months to a year, since The Boat, really. Yeah,
I guess that's one thing with The Boat is like, I feel like because we had those intimate opportunities to see them in that setting, all those bands are like, like I enjoy them more now than before we went on the boat. I mean, even like Violence, like I enjoy Violence more now after seeing them in Spinnakers.
Yep.
For the part that I didn't sleep through. But like, and then seeing them at Reggie's as well, it's like, oh, I enjoy this more now, like that you have that like intimate time or whatever.
Yep.
And I think Mastodon's the same way. Like immediately when they like started Blood and Thunder, I'm like, oh yeah, we saw them with their Halloween costumes
Yep.
on and stuff. You know, like it's just those little memories. So
and during the boat, like you're talking about those intimate moments, just seeing them around, even if you don't really interact with them, you see them all over the fucking place. And like it seemed like every other show I was at, I see Braun just hanging out down there by the stage, just watching the show.
Yeah. He was out all over the place.
Yeah.
Like just on the deck or like, I mean, all the bands were all over the place, but maybe he's just more noticeable to us anyway. So. And
I don't know if it was because it's the last show or not, but as we were walking out, he's just standing there. He must have been, I'm assuming, watching the show.
Oh, I'm sure.
Over by the VIP section.
He probably just stood there watching it, yeah.
But as we were walking out, he was sort of swarmed or surrounded by a lot of fucking people, all just saying, hey, taking selfies with him, thanking him, all of that. And he was super fucking chill, super cool about it.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, taking the time to meet the fans and interact with the fans. And that's awesome to see bands and members actually go out there and do that.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about Mastodon is like after they're set, everybody leaves and Braun comes out and does like a little speech or, you know, like little, talk or whatever. And this time it was about seeing his album with Lamb of God's album next to each other at Best Buy. And then him and Randy, like he called Randy or whatever about it or whatever. So
yeah, I've always found that weird, especially with Mastodon as a band, like that there's not like one lead, not one person. Like you have everybody doing vocal parts, everybody doing XYZ. Like it's a whole group project, a whole group thing. They really are a band, not like one member leading it type thing, right? And
because there are some bands where like you see, it's like, you know, Will Ramos is Lorna Shore. Like I couldn't tell you any other person in the band.
Usually it's the front man.
Yeah,
the front person,
man,
right?
Yeah,
like,
the front person's
whoever's the
band.
lead singer, like who you first associate with.
Yeah.
Not here. Braun has singing parts. Like it's going all over the place. And at the end of the show, he comes out and like every show we've seen, he comes out and does a little speech thing at the end of like, thank you. He thanked the crew that they were with. Being like, we've been on tour for like 50 days, 60 days or whatnot. I think all the bands were like that. Like, we've been on tour for 60 days. Thanks for coming out. Everybody thanking the crew, the fans, like your normal shit. But then that little story of Best Buy and being like, I was at home and it just revisiting the 2000s, early 2000s. Of like, I had a cordless phone, which could get you all the way to the mailbox. Talking about like old technology like that for all the kids who don't fucking know anymore.
Yeah. For the people who want a cell phone to stay in the house so that they can call people when they're at home.
Best Buy was talking about that, and like Best Buy used to be a cool place where you can go get CDs and DVDs. Now they sell appliances. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a swap market or whatever you called it.
Yeah, but to be fair, they sold that shit back then as well.
They did, just that wasn't the main thing.
He was still a child, so he didn't care about appliances, but there comes a certain age where you don't need a new washer or dryer, you don't need a new fridge, but you always want to go look at them. At least I do. And it's like,
I like looking at them like, oh, what could we have?
This fridge is really nice. Look at all the storage space we could have in here. We can get so much more meat in this freezer. Like
a body could fit in here.
There's just a point in your life where you start to appreciate that shit more and you notice it. So he's now at that age where now he's going to Best Buy and realizing, oh shit.
Well, they don't sell CDs anymore at Best Buy or DVDs.
Oh.
They stopped it.
Did they stop it?
Yeah.
I thought I saw something that they were going to stop.
Yeah.
Physical media, which physical media is just dying anyway.
It is,
Outside of record players, for some reason, are coming back.
Well, cassettes are coming back.
Cassettes are coming back too. Records and cassettes, so CDs are next. They gotta be.
Start collecting those.
Just working your way up the timeline of media. Really good fucking show all around.
It was good. I really enjoyed this Mastodon show, and I don't know if it was just because I was excited about the whole tour, like celebrating both albums or what, but I really enjoyed it.
They did say that they'd be back in the next year or so.
Oh yeah, with new music.
With new music and a new tour.
Yeah, so they must be working on it right now.
It's going to be fucking awesome. I actually, just before we recorded this, I was scrolling through my email, and we have a thing from Metal Injection.
Oh, really?
And the headline was something along the lines of new music coming from Mastodon.
So I wonder if last night was the announcement.
Maybe. I didn't read the article.
Yeah. Generally, like, once they say something, it'll be in, like, those online things right away.
Yeah. So that's super awesome. I hope for a new album next year. I don't know how fast they can turn around an album.
Yeah. Or if they've already worked on it and now they're
some bands are super quick. They can turn something around super quick.
Yeah.
Others take forever, and who knows how long they've been working on shit in the back, as they're touring and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, probably not as they're touring, but
maybe.
Before they
I don't know. They've got time to kill, so they're working on riffs and shit.
Possibly.
And these, I don't know. Some bands might, some bands might. I don't know.
I mean, maybe writing stuff, but like
that's what
recording and stuff.
No,
okay.
like writing shit, yeah.
Okay.
They did also mention, or he also mentioned, sort of the inception of the idea of this tour. And he was basically like, Randy and I have been talking about this for years, and we said, if our bands are still together or alive in 20 years after the release, maybe we should do a tour to celebrate both albums. And Randy said something similar of that they've been working on or talking about this for like the last 8 years or so. Where when it was announced, I honestly thought it was, both of them were on the boat last year.
Yeah.
Lamb of God got done playing Ashes of the Wake in its entirety there.
Yep.
And I assumed it was like, God, that was awesome to play this album in full. Like
this is a lot of
fun. The fans
fans
really responded to it.
Yeah.
They loved it. It was fun to go back and revisit this thing.
They played songs that they hadn't played live ever.
Right. So
yeah, it's really cool.
I assumed it started on the boat and then being like, fuck, that was awesome. We should do a tour with this. Who should we get? Oh, fuck, Mastodon also had an album come out in 2004, one of their biggest albums. We should have them go and we'll do a co-headlining thing. So that's how I figured it started. Earlier that day, though, we were out watching football and whatnot, sports balls, and you looked up and you found out that both were released on the same day. We've already mentioned that.
Yeah, so Ashes of the Wake, I actually saw it on Instagram. Somebody was like, happy birthday to Ashes of the Wake. And I'm like, shit, like today's like the actual day that it came out. And then I was like, when did Leviathan come out? And then I looked that up and they were both the same day. So
yeah, and so once that sort of like got in my brain, like, oh, it was the same day, I was like, maybe this didn't actually happen on the boat. They've been talking about this forever, and they confirmed that sure enough, they have been working or talking about this thing for a long time internally amongst themselves, which is super awesome. It makes you wonder, though, what other kind of projects are they talking about?
Yeah, like what's going on, or what other bands are talking about shit like this.
Right, yeah, and like you'll never find out about it until it happens, if it happens at all.
Yeah.
Reading Randy's book earlier this summer, him talking about Paul Gray from Slipknot, and how they had been talking a lot about doing different projects together.
Yeah,
and shit.
doing stuff together,
And like, what could have been out of that? Like, that could have been fucking amazing.
Right. I mean, isn't that like how Hell Yeah came together? Was like...
I think it was after Dime's death, it was sort of like...
Get together
Let's just get a bunch of friends together.
Yeah.
And then it sort of spun out of that. I don't know the whole story behind that at all. But that could have been too. Yeah. But yeah, like, same thing, or same concept, right? Bands sort of interact, meet each other, and become good friends. And then it's like, it'd be really cool, let's do this. It'll be really cool, let's do this. And just like, and you see it all the time with like people going and lending their support. Like Corey Taylor goes and does fucking vocals with a bunch of people all the time. Yeah. So, and even when he did his own solo thing, it's just sort of like go out and take my friends with me or my other friends with me and try this thing out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's really cool to see that, and it gives me hope for newer fun shit that's going to come out down the road. That's just going to be awesome.
Like this,
yeah. That you just don't know about until it happens, if it happens at all. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Their set was fucking awesome. I can't wait for the new music. I can't wait for a new tour then as well. Hopefully next year. If not next year, it'd probably be 2026.
Yeah, probably.
But it all depends on the album.
Maybe late next year. Takes. Yeah, maybe late next year.
It could be. It could be a fall tour, fall release.
Yeah.
But yeah, super awesome. Can't wait to see that.
Well, they did say we'll be back next year with new music, so maybe that was like we're going to be back touring with new music and not necessarily like our music's coming out next year. I don't know. Now I'm like reading too much into it.
Well, so they said one thing where they're like, we'll either be back next year or the next year. Like,
oh, is that what they said?
The first time around when they first announced it. And then at the end, when Braun came back out, he's like, "We'll be back next year," and he forgot that little tidbit at the end of like next year or the year after type thing.
Yeah.
But the point of it all being new shit is on the horizon. We'll be here soon. In the grand scheme of things, I guess, which is awesome. But then we get to Lamb of God, the other headliner of this tour.
I think this is my first. Well, I guess no, because we saw Ashes of the Wake on the boat, and they didn't start with Memento Mori, but
yeah,
potentially my first headlining show where they did not start with Memento Mori.
Really?
I think so.
Outside of the boat.
Outside the boat, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Huh.
Like
Okay.
a headlining show, like first show that they've, like live show that they've done it outside of that.
Yeah, I've been trying to think how many times we've seen them. I saw them as my first GA show, my second show ever, and then I don't think I saw them again until Open Air, which they weren't headliners for that. And then it was probably 2019, 2020-ish? Not 2020, it would have been 2019, 2021. We saw a bunch.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right.
Since 2021, we've seen them like 5 times.
Yeah, I was trying to think that too. They're up there in terms of the number of times we've seen them. I think I counted earlier, and this was like 9th or 10th time I've seen them, something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So I've seen them more than that since 2021, probably.
Maybe we'll have to count again and figure out what. I kind of want to do that for all our bands and just try to.
We should get a spreadsheet together.
Exactly. Yeah. Of like when did we see these bands type thing.
Because it's getting to the point where I can't remember.
Same.
When, like, even, I mean, who did we just have last week? Like, Revelations.
Kitty? Oh, no,
Repentance, yes. And, like, we'd seen them, and I'm like,
yep.
I didn't remember that, so. Or maybe that was 2 weeks ago, episode-wise, but.
Yeah, I'll probably try to put something together for that then. Because I've been thinking about that a lot, too. In any case, similar thing to Mastodon. They had the curtain, and Ashes of the Wake starts off super fucking hard with Laid to Rest. So I was like, when the fuck is the curtain going to drop? And I can't remember. I don't think it did drop. I think it dropped before it even started, and they all walked out on stage.
Oh, see, now I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was just last night.
Because they had Lamb of God, like...
Yep.
So it was a black curtain, but then they had, like, Lamb of God logo in white on it.
And I think it was just backing music for a bit, and then it dropped and they all went out on stage.
Yeah, I can't remember now.
I
feel like it dropped as they started.
Maybe, I can't remember.
Yeah.
In any case, though, it dropped, start the album off, fucking so great. The last time we did see this because we were on the boat.
Yeah.
But that's the show we stood behind the stage and watched out.
And luckily, we know most of the music.
Yeah.
So we could because otherwise you couldn't hear the vocals, you couldn't hear the guitar riffs sometimes. Like, it was just windy, and all we could hear is the click of the drum.
Yeah, it was really weird to see a show from that perspective.
Yeah.
The wind didn't help by any means, but also like it wasn't as loud and prominent because again the amps and the speakers are outwards into the crowd, not back to the band.
Right. I don't think I'll ever do that again.
It was fun. I really enjoyed it, but agreed, it was sort of like a cool. I did this.
It was unique.
Now I want to see it from the front. And we got to see it from the front tonight. There was a moment. I can't remember what song it was, but the drums were like tick 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 tick.
Yeah.
That I remember that instantly took me back to the boat.
To the boat where you can see Art, and it's on like that little
bit on top of the cymbal,
yeah.
and he's just ding 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 ding,
yeah.
and it instantly took me back to that. I was like, oh shit! I remember standing there watching this.
Yeah. On the boat I watched Art most of the time play because. I mean, that's basically all we could hear was the drums, and it was really fun to just watch him play.
Yeah.
And see that because from the front you don't see the drummer, like what the drummer is doing.
Yep.
At all. So being behind him, you could see. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, so then when that hit in and started going, I was like, oh shit, this is really cool. A few breaks in between where they'd leave the stage, probably get water and shit, cool off, and then come back. Randy had a few speaking parts as well. Not a whole lot of crowd interaction. It was more of just to get through the album.
Yeah, but Lamb of God doesn't really do that much crowd interaction.
No,
They have like the little so Randy has his little bits about like if you don't know, we're Lamb of God from Richmond, motherfucking Virginia.
Yep.
And then he has his little bits before the songs. They didn't play 512, so he didn't do
There
that
are
little
bits
bit.
for each song.
Yeah,
like
but
intros that he
other than that, like I don't remember much. I mean, on the boat, I think he had more interaction just because it was like they were supporting the boat or they were sponsoring the boat or whatever you want to say. But other than that, like at other shows, I don't remember him having much interaction.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. The one thing that was on the boat that wasn't here that I really enjoyed was the Ashes of the Wake, the instrumental song.
Yeah.
Where he comes out at the begging.
He's like, this is my favorite song?
This is my favorite song of all time. This is our greatest song ever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if you don't know why, you'll soon know. And then he leaves the stage and they do the instrumental. And he comes back on. I was like, I didn't have to do a goddamn thing. Like, that's, like, I was really wanting that same sort of interaction or sort of intro and whatnot.
Yeah.
But no, it was more of just, like, they came out, did the instrumental, went back, and then, yeah.
And then he came right back out, yeah. Oh, and then he came out for Omerta.
Omerta was
Nobody else was on the stage.
Nobody else was on the stage, didn't say anything about anything, just came out and did the Omerta intro.
Yeah. Which is kind of like, so they had like 4 screens out, and that was, Mastodon used it, and so did Lamb of God, and like 2 of them were right on his face when he said that. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I did notice that, yeah.
It was cool.
It was, like black and white.
Yeah.
And then they put up artwork from the album and shit up there throughout the performance as well.
Oh, yeah, I guess I was just talking about only Omerta, like the beginning of it.
Yeah. And I had been looking on Reddit and whatnot because, again, looking for posters to see if anybody had any idea about merch. And while I was scrolling through the posters, or posts trying to see about posters, I happened to see somebody had recorded and posted Redneck from last night's show or something like that.
From a show, not last night's show.
Yes. But that was the title. It was like from last night's show. Yeah. Whatever show it was, I don't remember. And I was like, oh, all right. So I guess they're not just doing the album in full. They're going to throw on a few more tracks. And I remember earlier that day we had talked about it as well. Like, all right, well...
The album's like 47 minutes.
It's super quick, right? So it's like, all right, what songs are going to play on top of it? And we thought Walk With Me in Hell...
512.
Into 512, into Redneck, and just do it like a 3-song encore type thing and call it quits. We got Walk With Me in Hell right.
Yep.
No 512, maybe because of time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just go look at other sets.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to look at other set lists to see if it's the same that what they do.
And then Redneck, so Walk With Me in Hell and Redneck.
Yeah. So I remember turning to you and being like, with my hand.
512.
I'll use this one, like 512.
Yeah.
And like, then you went into Redneck, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So, it was a pretty quick show.
That's one thing with Lamb of God. Like, once they play Redneck, you know it's over.
Yes, exactly.
Like, even if he doesn't say, like, we have one more song for you.
That's
like,
their closer, right?
And they just play Redneck, it's over. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a little just, not disappointing. I don't want to say that. I wanted a longer show.
Yeah, it was short.
But I always want a longer show with them.
I know. Yeah, I think Mastodon played for, like, 50-ish minutes, 55 minutes or something.
Whatever the album is,
yeah. And then they played for, like, probably 55 minutes as well. So...
I felt like Kerry King had a pretty long set.
They played
50 minutes.
50 minutes. He played for 50 minutes as well. And then Malevolence played for their 30 minutes.
30 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, so... I mean...
Good set times all around.
For $55...
Yes.
How much could you want? I mean, you got 3 long sets.
I mean...
Not necessarily like the hour and a half, hour and 40 minute headlining sets, but you got 3 long sets.
You did get 3 long sets. The price was right.
Yeah.
Agreed there. But like I said, I always want more Lamb of God. Even if they played for an hour and 30, an hour 40.
You'd be like,
I'm still like, fuck, that was so quick. I wanted more. It would have felt very, very quick.
It goes so quick. Like, and we were talking about that earlier in the day. I'm like, I think they normally only play for like an hour and 20 minutes, like for a headlining set. And like, otherwise they always get like the 45-minute slot if they're not headlining. But it always goes so quick.
It does, yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what.
And we're just like into the music, so it's like, all right. Yeah. It's definitely a band I'll go and I'll see multiple times. And we also talked about that like all of their shows, if they're a headliner or an opener, wherever they fall on this, on the bill, you're getting the same fucking show, the same energy, the same sound. Like, they're gonna bring everything they have to every show.
Yeah.
At least every show we've seen, and it's great. It's fucking awesome. But again, it's fuck. I want more.
I know.
Why is this over already?
I know. I think immediately afterwards, I messaged our friends that were there also from Des Moines, and I was like, they were like, "Oh, this is a fucking awesome show" or whatever, and I was like, "Yeah, I can't wait for the next Lamb of God show."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's always a band that like we'll travel. What was it? 8 hours, 7.5 hours.
Yeah.
To go see them. So.
It wasn't that bad of a drive either.
No. It wasn't for you.
No, I didn't do shit. But
you didn't even have to open the garage when we left.
No. In any case, though, it still wasn't bad. Like,
no,
I was expecting like a 12-hour drive.
Yeah.
So.
I was expecting 9. I don't know how you got 12 hours, but.
I think I just took you saying 9.
Adding 3 hours.
Because you always like, well, we have to add more time on. And
I was already adding the time on.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know.
It's all good.
It was only like 7 hours, so 7.5, whatever.
Yeah.
And the drive home's going pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's Labor Day weekend, so we're driving on Friday and Sunday. So hopefully people aren't out and about just yet. They'll be out, on Thursday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think tomorrow, like, the traffic in Chicago will be much worse. That's why I wanted to come home today. Also, in my mind, Omaha has nothing to do. So I was like, what are we going to do in Omaha?
Yeah.
Turns out where our hotel was looked like a cute little area.
Yeah.
So we could have kind of hang out.
There's a fuck ton of shit happening in Omaha, Nebraska. A lot of fucking young people going out and clubbing and shit. I don't know what the fuck is going on in Omaha. There's nothing there, but there's just hundreds of fucking young people out and about. Like, where the fuck are they all at? What the fuck are they doing?
Why are you in Omaha?
Right. There's not like a college there. So I'm so
somewhere else.
confused on what's going on there. Anywho, super quick trip, just down, saw the show, driving back.
Yeah. We're just there for, well, I guess it was 2 nights, but we drove there one day, saw the show, and then drove home.
Yep.
So.
Super fucking fun show. I remember when they announced it, we were like, fuck, they're not in Chicago.
Yeah, we didn't think we were going to make any of the dates.
And this one worked, and it happened to be the last show. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
It was on the birthday of both albums, which is fucking awesome. One thing I was going to mention, I forgot to mention, this was our first show put on by Mammoth since Linefest.
Oh, Mammoth was the supporter
Mammoth
of this?
was the
producer?
Promoter of this,
Promoter?
Yeah. And I remember after Linefest being like, I'm never seeing another Mammoth show again. Five Finger and
Marilyn Manson?
No, well, yeah, him, but the Five Finger show and the Rob Zombie show last year. Those could have been Mammoth. I don't remember.
Okay.
But anything in the Midwest, I think, is Mammoth. I think they're out of like Kansas City, or maybe they're out of Omaha. I can't remember where.
Kansas City, yeah.
But they're like the big promoter here in the Midwest, at least in that region. So I remember seeing them and seeing that they were the promoter of this. And I was like, fuck, we're going to go see another Mammoth show.
Well, it turned out okay.
It did. It turned out great. It really did.
There's free water. That's all that matters. I bet you all these like newer venues will have free water.
Oh, I think so. We went to the salt shed, and they've got the water fountain built in with cups next to it.
Yeah.
You can buy water if you want, and people do buy water. They buy that liquid death shit.
Yeah.
Or you just go to the drinking fountain and get a free cup of water.
Yep.
I'm shocked, and it's pissing me off that that's not like a law that you have to have access to free water, especially at festivals. I mean, like, that's bullshit.
At Milwaukee Metal Fest, this year at Milwaukee Metal Fest, they did have some water jugs to fill up your water, but I used the bathroom.
No, I did too.
I didn't really care.
To me, that's free water. It's access to free water at that point. Any case, this was a fucking awesome show. Oh, that's what it was about, Chicago.
We'll get to the end here. We promise.
They didn't. I don't think they did Chicago because they're both doing.
Riot Fest. Yeah.
Which at Riot Fest, Mastodon is playing Leviathan in full, I believe.
Yeah.
It's listed as that on the set times. Lamb of God isn't listed as that, and Randy even said during the show, like, this is the last time we're going to play this album in full for, who knows, maybe ever.
Yeah. So I bet the Riot Fest set will be, we're not going to Riot Fest, but I bet the set will be a normal set.
I think it will, yeah. And I've got friends who are going, and they said they were going to check it out because I made them read the book, Randy's book, for a book club.
Yeah.
Which we'll do a book club episode on that as well.
Yeah, we are. After you do your book club with your group, we will do a little... I took notes up until like chapter 7 or 8 or something
because
like that.
you read the book before I did.
I read it first. Which was very hard to not talk to you. I did talk to you a little bit about it, but not much.
And then I'll have book club. We'll have our conversation, which will make me remember some shit as well. But yeah, we'll do an episode on that. So definitely, heads up, it's definitely worth the fucking read to get his book. It's like 500 pages, but it's such an easy read.
Yeah. And not easy as like in a dumb read. It's like easy as in like it flows.
Yeah.
Like,
you can just, it's a page turner. You just boom. You
like you want
right
to know what
it.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, sometimes like when I hear easy read, it's like, oh, the font is this big. And
oh,
like,
no, I've never think that.
That's what I always think of, yeah.
When I think of easy read, it's more of like...
It's engaging.
It's engaging, and it's just more of like, you can burn through it super quick.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit there and have to look up every other word for the definition of what this is.
Yes.
Or look up and understand the
background or anything.
Right, like how a particular war impacted a region and its economy to understand what the author's talking about type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, easy read. Definitely worth checking out. But yeah, we'll do an episode on that. But yeah, that's why I brought up Chicago. I'm like, oh shit, they're not going to be in Chicago. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Because they're going to be at Riot Fest. So if they had announced Riot Fest before this show, we probably would have skipped this, and we probably would have just done Riot Fest.
Yeah. Riot Fest is fucked up this year, though.
It was, and it's kind of disappointing, but whatever. It is what it is. We did a whole 666 on that. Any case, back to this show. Fucking amazing show. Price was fucking great. Just all around a great show. Love all these bands. I can't wait to see them again.
I know, yeah. It was a perfect lineup, too, I think.
Yeah.
Like, there's some shows where I'm like, oh, that one band didn't fit, or like they could have had, something else, and this was just perfect.
Well, that, or you're just not into it.
Or just not into it. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I was just into all four bands.
I think that's what it was, yeah. Because we've talked about that, too, of like, I like when there's a diversity in the lineup. Looking back at one of the Lamb of God shows we saw at the Aragon with Baroness. And I fucking loved that show.
Baroness did not fit in that.
Baroness fit perfectly in that.
No.
And that's, again, you weren't into that band. You didn't think it fit. I was really into it, and I felt like it fit very well. That whole tour, that whole lineup of those bands fit very fucking good.
Noodles. One of us is right, one of us is wrong.
Someday you'll learn how to be right. Any case, yeah, as you said, any case.
Any hoodles, not any case.
Whatever, any hoodles. Great fucking show. Can't wait to see these guys again. If they come around, we'll definitely see all of these bands.
Oh,
again.
yeah.
It was cool.
It'd be kind of fun next year if Mastodon does a headlining show with Lamb of God support. Even though it wasn't a support. Like, Mastodon was not support.
They do another co-headliner where Mastodon is the top of the bill.
The top of the bill, that's what I meant, yeah.
I do wonder, since they both played their hometowns, if on those days they would, like, Mastodon would be the headliner in Georgia.
Because there's sometimes, like, when we see co-headlining shows, it's like, oh, I want this band to be the headliner. And this is another one where it's like, it doesn't really fucking matter who the headliner is.
They'll flip-flop what ones do what. But this one, I bet Lamb of God probably closed out.
Probably.
All of them. Outside of probably that Georgia show.
Yeah.
There's also, like I said, a boat reunion in terms of the bands. There were a number of boat shirts.
Oh, yeah.
You had your boat shirt on.
Yep.
At that city pub or whatever the fuck it was called, there were two guys that walked in with boat shirts.
Yep. There was a guy in the pit with a boat shirt.
The guy in the pit with the boat shirt. And at the end of the night, we were just sort of standing there, and a guy walks up to me and just like points at his vest on his chest.
Oh, did he have the Headbangers?
He had the Headbangers logo, the skull and crossbone thing, right? He had the skull on one side and the bones on the other side, which was like, oh, that's kind of a cool setup.
Like, I knew that he said he noticed your vest, but I was like, how did you know who he was.
Yeah,
sort
no,
of
it
thing.
was definitely him pointing at,
Yeah.
like, he just walked up to me.
Yeah.
I don't think he said anything. He just sort of like pointed at his vest, like at the
Okay.
at the skull.
I missed that whole part. So.
And I was like, oh shit, hey, how's it going? Fist bumped and then talked for a little bit. They were on the boat last year, obviously. They're going this year. Hopefully run into them there.
Yep.
But yeah, really cool to see other people who
Like
are on
the
the
boat.
boat and
Yeah,
recognize
the boat
it.
family. Yeah. Hopefully they keep doing the boat and it does become like a family where like, I mean, kind of like we saw it at Rockfest where like it seemed like a lot of people go to Rockfest every year and it's like their reunion and stuff. That's what I'm hoping the boat
We saw that
into.
with, like, Danny Wimmer did a documentary about their festivals a few years back, 2020. And they talked to people during that, and it was like, yeah, I get to go back and see my friends, my family again.
Yeah.
And they said the same thing. They always camp around the same area. We've talked about that with the boat, too, of, all right, what happens? Does it continue to happen if Lamb of God says we're not going to headline this year?
Like, do they hand it over? Or,
But if that happens, I still see it being Lamb of God presents Headbanger's Boat with the headliner of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
In any case, as we said several times, a killer fucking show. So glad we made it. I was super excited for this.
I'm glad we made it too, because otherwise I think we would have, if we would have skipped it, like not skipped it, but like not been able to make any date work, I would have been so disappointed.
Yeah, and it's something easy that we could have been, because like we could have easily said like, we already saw
both of them.
actually the Wake in its entirety. We don't need to see it again.
Yeah.
Leviathan, that's cool and all, but whatever, it is what it is. But we did make it work. We got to go do it. It was fucking awesome. And live music in general is fucking awesome. So go out, see a fucking show, and we'll catch you at the next show.
Yep. Bye.